it's not getting a million points of feminism from me. Like, I'm not like, hooray. But,
You're not?
you know, I'm not.
A million points of feminism.
A million points of feminism.
What does get a million
That's
points
the
of
scale.
feminism?
Yeah,
That's the
it's
scale,
1 to
actually.
a million.
What's a million?
People don't use the Bechdel test anymore.
Well, hello, and welcome back to Gateway to Anime. How are you all? What's going on, Charlie? What's going on?
Not much. It's good to be back chatting about anime and all of that.
Gray, how are you, my friend?
Good. Despite my best efforts, I'm still here.
What's that great thing from Mother 2, you know, the JRPG, the classic old one? It's like
No,
this him
Sam.
looking
No.
in the reflection, and it's him, and it just says, despite everything, it's still you. Gold. That's fucking gold shit.
The 1% of the people in the world that
The
play
deep
that
cutters who
stuff.
understand that, good. So today we are here to talk about the Dark Trio. So this is a modern trio benefiting much from the same terminology as the big three. Now, of course, people know the big three as Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. And this was a term given to those three when they were all being printed in Shueisha's Shonen Jump magazine in the late 90s to early 2000s, and they were the big shows. And of course, One Piece is the biggest show, still going to this day. The Dark Trio is a modern version of that, with three big mangas all being printed in Shueisha's Shonen Jump. Now, one of them is on Jump Plus, but that's semantics. So it's interesting because they've now grown up a little bit. These are much darker, much more adult versions of shonen anime, hence the term the Dark Trio. So they are, of course, Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Hell's Paradise, which is airing right now. So let's chat about the Dark Trio and what that kind of means, what it's all about, what we think about them. Graham, you're the manga boy. Why don't you start off with the Dark Trio? You've been on top of this much longer than us.
Years.
Yeah.
This is years in the making.
Yeah.
Now it's my time. I pretty much started reading these when they came out. And just from the jump, you could tell this is something different.
Interesting.
Like the worlds, as you said, were darker.
Mm-hmm.
The sort of main protagonists are as probably anti-shonen in the way that they're sort of presented.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Yeah.
They sort of, instead of that positivity, I'm going to be the best, I'm going to be, you know,
Pirate King, the
Pirate King,
Hokage,
Wizard
whatever the
Master,
fuck
blah, 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 blah.
Ichigo's all about.
They all have small goals. They all have quite mundane lives.
Yeah.
Even the worlds that they seem to be inhabiting are quite mundane at first glance.
comparatively.
So it's not a far-flung land of ninjas and stuff. So yeah, straight off the bat, something was in the air with these three.
They all debuted in 2018. I think Hell's Paradise was first.
Hell's Paradise was first to get a manga and last to
Yes.
get an anime.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 Which is quite interesting. Now, all three of these authors have at some stage worked with each other, which is also quite interesting. So we've got Chainsaw Man written by Tatsuki Fujimoto. We have Jujutsu Kaisen written by Gege Akutami. And of course, we have Hell's Paradise written by Yuji Kaku. They're all quite different from each other, though, aren't they? In many ways. In the same way Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece are.
Yeah.
But, you know, when it comes to numbers, pure numbers, very, very different in respect to the, you know, there's so much more time passed, of course. But the biggest seller as of April 2022 last year was Jujutsu Kaisen with 70 million. But then you talk Bleach has 130 million. So, you know, there's any chance Jujutsu Kaisen can overtake that.
Yeah.
Naruto has 250 million copies sold. But One Piece, over 500 million manga copies sold. It's, people don't, like, we don't talk much about One Piece because it's a bit of a flaw in our game, but people don't really understand the actual gravity of just how big One Piece actually is. I think it's the second biggest comic of all time.
I would say it's probably first.
Superman and all of its
But that's got
kind is number one.
that's got 70 years on it though. Like.
This is the thing. Batman as well.
But if you're talking about an ongoing story,
yeah, it's
that's
Written by one person.
the whole time.
one psychotic
I
man.
think, has there ever, I was speaking to a friend about this the other day, I was like, have there ever been a single, in our time, like a single artist that's been as dedicated to their story or their world build than Oda? Like ever.
No.
Like, because it's been, I remember reading, we chatted about One Piece before, I remember reading about him drawing sketches of Luffy, you know, like when he was in high school, primary school, even. Like
yeah,
he's had this world in his head and he still is the main, like he has assistants, of course, but it's still him. He still draws it. He's still got his plan. He's got 80% finished or something like that.
It's insane.
It's insane.
It's absolutely insane.
So he just kind of deserves to be the top at this
of
point,
course.
you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
That hasn't killed him.
Yeah.
He hasn't done a hiatus like
No.
a lot of long-running manga has gone through. Like he's still there.
He's had 3 breaks across the almost 25 years he's been doing this.
And what he got married once?
Got married once, and then went on holiday once with his wife and kids, I believe. That's it.
Jesus.
That's it.
What are those kids?
Oh, he went to
going
hospital
through?
once. Like something, and then took
Those
some time
kids
off.
must hate One Piece. Like they must hate it. Like,
No, it's absolutely crazy. So let's just go through them one by one. And again, like, so these are terms given. Now, the big 3 was actually coined, or what I read, was actually coined by Shonen Jump. They actually coined the big 3 as a term, and it got picked up by the fans. Now, the Dark Trio hasn't been coined anything by any official body, so it's very much a fan thing. And the big 3 ended up becoming a bit of a fan thing too. And a lot of people are going to, we have a full episode on this that you can check out, by the way, entitled The Big 3, where we go much more into detail. We're not going to go too much into detail in this episode, but of course we are going to reference it a lot because obviously you can't not. But the Dark Trio is very much a fan-given title. Interesting because also, if you want to talk about modern shonen, well, My Hero Academia, far bigger. Even Black Clover, still far bigger as far as numbers are concerned. Than
Demon Slayer.
Demon Slayer has sold 150 million copies. Absolutely massive. Not even like, these guys are not it's not a term to say the biggest shonen of time. No.
Because would you say the new generation of the big 3 is My Hero, Demon Slayer, and Black Clover before it ended up?
You could make that argument very easily.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to say that this Dark Trio is bigger than those because it's not accurate. And it's just, this is a term that has been coined in the community, and I think it's interesting to talk about. And again, it shows very much how shonen anime has grown up. And of course, I think My Hero Academia is Black Clover couldn't be more of a shonen tropey piece if it tried. Literally is the most paint by numbers modern shonen you could possibly imagine. That doesn't mean I hate it or anything. I'm not throwing shade at all
I love
the fans.
Black Clover.
Dude, it does all the things. It ticks all the boxes. Gives me all the things I want from shonen, right? But let's start with Chainsaw Man. Just why not?
I just want to say about that though, it's funny because like out of the 3, we're going to start with Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
But to me, the one that stands out as being odd, because I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen is more notably, it's like less dark and violent than the other 2.
Yes. It's
So
more
to be put
shonen-y.
in the Dark Trio, I find that interesting. Because it's very much in my head, it's about as bleak and dark as Demon Slayer is. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
It's more grounded in reality, definitely. Definitely more grounded in reality.
Interesting.
But I think that it's in terms of like what's happening and how it, like I think compared to Hell's Paradise and Chainsaw Man, it's nowhere near.
Yeah.
It's a better show. Jujutsu Kaisen is my favorite of the Dark Trios. I mean, I think it's a
too.
better show. But I think in terms of like edgelord violence, like that's like what you're looking for in a dark, edgy. It wouldn't be the first thing that came to my mind.
No, you're right. It's on par with Demon Slayer in respect to how dark and edgy it gets. So yeah, for sure.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think you're there pretty much spot on. But I think obviously the manga is now 19 volumes in, and it will get darker, progressively darker.
Interesting.
Like,
Interesting.
there's definitely a bell curve of darkness.
Really?
And
Okay.
so
Excellent.
for anime watchers, you're probably like, yeah, I can see it. It's got very shonen tropey type vibes, but it will get to a point where it's like, oh, this is pretty bad.
Yeah, we'll get to it because
It's
Itadori
punishing
is
as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we'll talk about that when we talk about
we'll get
Jujutsu
there.
Kaisen though, because I've got some thoughts on that.
All right, so let's talk about what I think is probably the most unhinged, and I guess in many ways the most original, which is of course Chainsaw Man. Now, Chainsaw Man is written by a madman. Like, let's be honest. He ate his own goldfish, for God's sake. Chainsaw Man is, we've talked about it a lot before. You can go find our episodes about that right here. But basically, guy lives a terrible life, has nothing going for him, is in debt to the Yakuza. There's a world in which fears are manifested in devils, and the stronger the human fear of the devils, the stronger it is. So the most powerful devil that exists is the gun devil, which is automatically just then and there a very interesting premise. Now, he is really good friends with the Chainsaw Devil, who's a cute little dog character. After some shit goes down, I won't spoil too much, he ends up fusing with the Chain Devil Chainsaw Devil, and becoming Chainsaw Man. But the thing that's interesting about this show is that Denji's motivations, and you touched on it before, Graham, is nothing more than he wants to live a quiet, simple life and touch some boobies. And look, in many ways, I find Chainsaw Man to be trying a bit hard to be edgy. And like I can see like 16-year-olds just like frothing it. And I get that. But like for me, I haven't read the manga, and I know for a fact the manga is better than the adaptation. It was a good adaptation, but like
Solid.
It was solid, but I don't know. As the manga boy, do tell.
I think the adaptation is great. It's definitely more cinematic. Fujimoto's panels can be a bit flat,
Interesting.
and vacant, apart from the scenes where it's chainsaws, demons, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of like that simplicity of it as well, and you sort of get more of the characters. But I think they do that really well in the anime as well. Like there's a lot of quiet scenes and stuff that's very cinematic and beautifully animated.
True.
Yeah, I think it's great.
You love it, don't you? Is it your favorite of the Dark Trio?
They're all kind of on the same level.
Interesting. Okay.
Hell's Paradise is so new.
Yeah.
And so in its infancy.
As an anime, yes.
Yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen, we'll jump all over the place here. I think Jujutsu Kaisen elevates the source material.
Oh,
The
it's
source
great.
material is-
Great adaptation from Mappa.
The source material is good. Like there's great moments in it, but the art is terrible and it's rushed.
From
and
Akutami.
He leaves so much out of the plot and then fills it in. Like, oh, it's cute. I forgot to explain this. He's a cute character. And I'm like, no, you put it in the fucking story.
Interesting.
Don't leave me confused for like a whole chapter. Anyway, that's my own stuff. But I like it. I think as a character study, it's probably the best out of the three.
Chainsaw Man.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so because it's designed. It's only, I think it's like 15 chapters.
There's two parts, of course.
Yeah, but the next part is a whole other.
And it's
separate
that's
thing.
on Jump Plus, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think it's a better character study.
Okay.
Especially Denji. Wants a quiet life, wants to eat peanut butter, wants to have a bath, but he's constantly being manipulated and doesn't have the tools to deal with the manipulation of the people that are around him. And that's something he's going to have to learn to deal with. Itadori he's just wants a good death. That's his main thing.
That's it.
But he can't have a good death because he can't save the people around him from dying, and he can't live with that. Gabimara the Hollow wants to get back to his wife.
Wife guy.
But he's going to have to go through hell to get to it. So they're all good. I think Chainsaw Man, just because of how the characters are presented, might be my favorite. But
it's also interesting because Fujimoto was born in 93. Okay, so
93.
he's young.
What?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, this is like another how to feel bad about yourself episode.
wasted my life.
It's like
He's
the
young.
Orson Welles thing again when he
Yeah,
was
yeah,
25, and I was like,
Yeah. Or
don't you dare.
Hajime Isayama as well when he started Attack on Titan in 19. But yeah,
my
so
God.
Fujimoto was born in 93.
Yeah, right.
Now, a very secretive guy too. Doesn't show his face in public. A lot of mangaka don't. It's quite an interesting thing, despite the fact that they're rock stars. The reason he wrote Denji in the things that I was researching was because he feels that his generation are much less aspirational. This is from a Japanese perspective, obviously. Much less aspirational than those before them. And he thinks a lot of people now are just simply hunting to find a simple, easy, fulfilling enough life without having to like get to the top and be the fucking best. And it's reflective in Denji, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really interesting and a fascinating statement. And also, by the way, the show is set, if you didn't figure that out, the show is actually set in 1997.
The cell phones, yeah.
Yeah, it's 1997. It's not not actually modern, not like Jujutsu Kaisen where it's modern, and obviously Hell's Paradise, ancient, like it's an old samurai ninja story. So yeah, 97 for some reason. And again, it's interesting because he would have been, 4 or 5 when 1997? So,
Yeah, but the styling of it is giving, like, I feel like he definitely must have been influenced by, probably a Tarantino film.
Oh, of course.
oh,
You know what I mean? So
huge
all of
movies.
those, like, kind of exploitation films.
Yes.
Not actual exploitation films.
No,
you know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
I know
Like,
what you're saying.
that pulpy kind of,
Yes,
like,
yes,
Grindhouse.
violent, like, just so ridiculous, like, chainsaws and blood and blah, blah, blah. I feel like it's no surprise that the styling of that is the 90s, the late 90s, because
Yeah,
that's
true.
what I would put it as well.
True.
And I feel like we're similar ages, me and him, so
You are.
I can speak for him. I speak for an entire generation. No, but it's like, millennial.
Mm-hmm.
I I guess, but no, he's a millennial. Yeah,
Yeah.
good for him. So am I.
Well, do you know
Everyone
what?
hates millennials, so we're fine.
I know, we're somehow.
We suck.
Um,
I think that Chainsaw Man's the most. Oh, it's not the most fun. I think Jujutsu Kaisen's the most fun. Chainsaw Man is like, yeah. If you are a fan of that Tarantino, as we were saying before, like it's
irreverent.
It's irreverent, and it's like it's so balls to the wall that it's almost like not even edgy anymore because it's so almost camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
So you're sort of like
it's very horny.
You're like, whoa. Yeah, a lot of things about it that would annoy me in any other circumstances. For some reason I give Chainsaw Man a free pass because I think all of the fan servicey stuff comes from Denji's perspective, and it's not like, whereas a lot of the other fan service issues I have is like just the whole thing is swung that way, whereas it's like it's not actually that. There's like it's not getting a million points of feminism from me. Like I'm not like hooray, but
You're not?
you know, I'm not.
A million points of
A
feminism.
million points of feminism.
What does get a million
That's
points
the
of
scale.
feminism?
Yeah,
That's the
it's
scale.
1 to a
actually.
million.
What's a million?
People don't use the Bechdel test anymore. They use Charlie's
At least million points.
million points
Scoreboard.
of feminism. I don't know how this is
Well,
going.
you're only getting 250,000 feminist
Yeah,
points on
too.
this.
Oh. Under half.
I just think because he's a realistic character in that sense. If you were in
Yes.
that situation,
Yeah, he's a young man,
Yeah.
inexperienced in
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
and he really goes to the ringer. In fact, like, and the adults around him are really
Cooked.
cooked. You
Oh,
know, so
the worst.
that's the problem. Really, that's the problematic stuff.
Yeah.
Not him wanting to touch boobs. It's like
No.
the you know. But I don't think it's tough to know whether it's sold in like a sexy way or not.
There's some problems.
Some
in there.
problems with it, yeah. But you know, the world he lives in and he partakes in is incredibly grim,
Yeah.
violent, pretty hopeless world. In fact, all three of them are.
Oh
So,
yeah. Well, they're the dark trio. It's dark.
there you go. We finished
Also,
it. We did.
I'm
we
gonna.
figured it out.
So the character who won a recent fan like voting award was Power, right?
Yeah.
Power won big
Yeah.
fan award, or not award, but some they had a vote
She
in
won
Japan.
1 million points.
She won.
feminism.
Jesus.
She is the million points of
She
feminism.
did it.
What I get? Like a big wrestling bout of the winner?
You
The
did
most
it, Power.
feminist of all of
The most
the titles.
feminist points. Sorry.
But who do you think he based the character of Power off? And I tell you now,
Harley Quinn.
it will shock you. No, that's a good guess, but you never get it. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it when I found out.
God,
It's
let me
two
get
different
this.
characters.
Ash Ketchum. Sorry.
Yeah. Obviously.
It was Ash.
Agatha Christie.
Okay.
No, hang on, I
Power.
want to guess again.
Okay, one more guess.
Can you give us a hint?
Okay. One's
Give us a genre.
one's from a Western cartoon. The other's from a Coen Brothers film.
Okay, is one from Fargo?
Nope.
It's one from the Looney Tunes.
Nope.
Hang on, can I guess another
Western.
one?
Yeah,
A
one
Western
more.
cartoon.
An edgy Western cartoon.
An edgy Western cartoon.
Comedy.
Stewie Griffin.
And that's actually pretty close, but no. Eric Cartman.
Ah,
Really?
Eric
No, that
Cartman.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That kind of just like so base level
Yeah,
of like
And,
being like,
and John Goodman's character, Walter Suberhack from The Big Lebowski.
Oh, really?
Oh.
I get you
That
in
is
5
who
minutes.
Power is based off,
I love that.
right?
Wow.
So again, it
We
puts
were
you
really
into...
close with Ash Ketchum.
Stuart Griffin wasn't miles off. But yeah, no, that's a fascinating thing. And you're right. One of his big influences, as you said, he's even said, and he studied as an oil painter, not as a drawer. So I guess I don't know about the art style, but that's something interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't he's not a formally trained artist like the others. Watercolor. Yeah, watercolor was his thing. He also has said that if his advice to young upcoming mangaka is to just watch movies. Watch as many movies as possible. And it goes into what you were saying. He's obviously so influenced by like action exploitation 90s films, you know, and obviously The Big Lebowski and South Park. I think you've read Fire Punch. So Fire Punch was his first story, and it's even more crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. The end of it is batshit banana hammocks. It kind of just goes off the rails, and you're like, well, I guess this is where he wanted it to end, but
Yeah, he's
that's
like
a ludicrous story.
yeah. Well, he's a ludicrous. I mean, Chainsaw Man's ludicrous.
Great characters in there.
He writes good
Great
characters. Like there's
characters.
that great sequence in Chainsaw Man, the anime season 1, where Aki just gets up and like does his morning routine. You know, has a cigarette, has a coffee, and like just makes himself breakfast. It's a beautiful like slice of life scene. It's animated beautifully by Mappa. So I think Chainsaw Man's just doing something very different.
Oh, the character's a great Makima, like just terrifying character. And you're like,
Terrifying.
you are so deeply unsettling.
So unsettling.
Do I love you? Like that's the vibe there.
Yeah.
Who's she based off?
I did read something about it, but I didn't recognize the characters.
No
he was
South
talking
Park
about.
in her.
Unfortunately not, no. Randy
Okay,
Marsh,
that's,
no.
That's a shame.
Randy Marsh.
I was going to bet all.
But yeah, look, so
I
Chainsaw
can't
Man,
remember any of the. What are their names?
Stan.
Stan, Cartman,
Kyle.
Kenny, and Kyle.
Kyle. Yeah.
Come on.
Kenny's the one that. Yeah.
Kenny that dies all the time, yes.
Yeah. That's everyone in Chainsaw Man is based off Kenny because they all die.
Everyone's
They all
Kenny.
just die horribly
yeah,
every
that's
time.
most of Shonen is based on that.
100%.
Yeah.
Anyway, look, I think Chainsaw Man's really interesting. Like I say, very irreverent, very unhinged, but that is what gives it its selling point. You know, it's so different. It does things that does something that you don't see very often. And I think the best thing about Chainsaw Man is that it constantly subverts your expectation. And it doesn't do what you think it's going to do. And you're like, whoa, you went there? Okay, dude, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, whereas the other two, a little bit more paint by the numbers, but we'll get to that. So, speaking of which, let's transition now. We'll keep talking about Chainsaw Man and peppering them all in as we go, but just want to give each one a section. So, let's talk about Jujutsu Kaisen, because it's my favorite, because I'm basic, and it is the most shonen-y, as you said, no question. It's still the one that I recognize most, you know what I mean? But definitely darker, and as you say, obviously gets much darker. I hear the Shibuya incident, which is about to come out, is like the turning point of darkness, and also meant to be an incredible arc coming out soon. Check it out. In summer.
Now we'll finally get viewers. No one was going to watch it.
No one's going to
He
watch
said
it
that.
now.
No one was interested in Jujutsu Kaisen
Yes.
season 2.
Give me money, Shonen Jump. But yeah, Jujutsu Kaisen. I mean, I fucking love Jujutsu Kaisen. I just think it's so fucking good. You know, like it does everything I want. It's still darker. It's a bit like the power system. Also, what do you think is his biggest influence from the power system for Jujutsu Kaisen? You'll get this. It's one of your favorites.
I'm going to say Hunter x Hunter.
100% correct. That's right. Hunter x Hunter Togashi and Yu Yu Hakusho, his biggest influence from manga and anime. Absolutely.
Well,
He loves it.
I was going to say South Park. Sorry.
That's good. Okay. Yep. Good. Yeah, but also he was heavily inspired by Neon Genesis
Yeah.
and the Christian iconography and all that sort of biblical references and whatnot. Big time. Obviously, there's a bit of that in Chainsaw Man too, Angel, Devil and whatnot. But yeah. I mean,
It makes sense because Nen and the kind of idea of having your own personal ability and the drawbacks of that personal ability and like, yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
I think Hunter x Hunter does it better.
Oh, yeah.
Hunter x Hunter is amazing.
As in better power system.
Oh, yeah. The power
Nen is
all over
arguably the
place.
best power system that exists. I would say Chakra's better.
Chakra?
Yeah, but the powers in Naruto, it gets crazy eventually. Gets out of
Chakra
control.
is not a good power. Like,
What do you mean?
It is. It's like
It's a building
it's the
blocks
most
of
basic,
It's a building block.
Like,
No, the power system in
Foundation.
Naruto is fucking dope. The ninja powers? What are you talking about?
like I love watching. No, I love the abilities in terms of power structure, in terms of like rules and like actually. Having
Okay, he
an
throws the
interesting,
rules out
cohesive one.
the fucking
that
window
one, I
every
reckon
time.
That's one of the worst examples of it.
Really?
Like, yeah,
But they're the coolest powers.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, but like I don't know. I feel like Nen is cool because it's got cool powers, but it makes kind of sense in its own way, and the
Does
rules
it
are there,
though?
and it's like. Yeah, there's so much about it. You don't get introduced into the power system until like halfway through the season.
I
which
did
is
like
very
that.
Cool.
That's true, yes. When you get
Well,
to
I
the
mean,
train.
famously, the best power systems are known to be One Piece, which is incredibly clear cut.
Yes, with the
Eat a
devil
fruit,
fruits.
get a
Yep.
fruit.
Eat a fruit,
Yep.
get a power.
Absolutely. And then you've got Nen, and then you've got the stands in JoJo.
Oh, the
as well.
stands, yeah,
So I
okay,
think that
yeah.
like those are the ones that chakra, okay, go off, I guess.
Because I'm sorry, if anyone doesn't get emotional when Rock Lee fights Gaara,
Oh,
then
no,
you're a
I
fool.
love that.
And
I
it's
love-
about controlling sand or being really good at ninjutsu or controlling ice like Haku does.
But
having
you know what
weird
I mean
eyes.
Or being a
about-
fucking
You know what I
badass.
mean about the world build and the like power rules and the structure.
Oh, he
and the
throws it out at
systems.
the end. The end is just like,
It's
like,
just
nothing
vague.
on the moon.
It's as vague as the Force, you know. Like,
Okay, no, okay,
and, like,
look,
you're kinda
okay,
like, cool.
okay. I'm just blinded by my love of Naruto.
Yeah, that's
okay,
fair.
okay, you got me.
Sorry, we're back to
Okay, but the Bunkai and Shikai system's pretty fucking cool too in Bleach. Let's be real.
Yeah.
yeah, because it's a you know they've
Yeah.
got parameters. That's the thing. I love
Nah.
rules. Oh wait, I mean, hang on, parameters in terms of like there's these two things and they go like, but these two things have infinite power that can go like it's
Yeah,
gonna-
dude.
yeah.
Once you get to the end of
Ichigo
Bleach,
breaks that system. That's what I don't like
yeah,
about it.
you're right. It's just like Ichigo is now the most powerful being because.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what? Because
Because
I said
he,
so.
he talked to himself.
Yeah,
You're like,
it
what?
makes no fucking sense. Anyway, look, I love Bleach. Don't get me wrong, and the adaptation was sick, and I can't wait for it to finish.
Everyone else is great.
Yeah, Ichigo's a dumb character, dude. I'm
rules.
sorry, he
Yeah,
is. He makes no
anyway,
sense. He
yeah.
doesn't. What is his motivation? He's reactionary. Anyway, we're not talking about the big three. We've talked about that before. So let's talk about Jujutsu Kaisen again. And no,
I think there's valid point in being reactionary though.
Reactionary protagonists are boring, dude. Like, you've got to have a fucking purpose. Like, he's constantly, Ichigo is always in response to something else. He doesn't have a goal.
Yeah, but he's like 16-year-old kid who's just
So
like
is
walking
Naruto.
down
So
the
is
street.
Luffy.
Yeah, but like,
so is Itadori.
Yeah, but they're in,
so is Gabimaru.
But Ichigo's just in like modern day Japan, just walking down the street.
So is Itadori.
Yeah, but
Who's
again,
also got a pretty
hang
nebulous.
on, Itadori is also a reactionary protagonist.
In fact, that's true. And he's heavily influenced
and
by
obviously
Bleach.
Bleach and Jujutsu Kaisen are the most similar.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
What a great segue.
But
into
Bleach is
what
at
you
its best.
We did it.
Bleach
We
is
did
at its
it.
best when he's got a goal. That's why the Shinigami arc is the best.
That's 100
because
he's 100%
gotta
correct.
rescue Rukia.
Rukia has a clear set goal.
Yeah, but it's a reactionary goal.
It is, yes.
I like that. I think that all of these protagonists are actually reactionary protagonists.
The Dark Trios?
Yes.
Okay.
They don't really have a goal. They're like just literally. So think about this. Gobimaru does actually,
Yes.
but so take him off the table for a second there. But Denji, his goals are he's not reaching out to be Hokage. He's not.
No.
He's a reactionary. He goes, okay, I'm about to be killed by a whole pile of zombies. He's reacting to that. He's like, oh, now I'm a chainsaw demon.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, this
Oh,
is true.
cool,
They are
this girl's
reactionary.
gonna
Yeah.
help me.
Yeah.
Now I work for her. Like,
Yeah, good
and
point. Good
Yeah,
point.
no, that's true. It's
really,
fair. You've got
you
that.
hating reactionary protagonists.
I'm
and
not a huge
saying
fan of reactionary
that these are your
protagonists.
favorite protagonists means that you've just contributed.
They're not in my top 3, as you can watch in this YouTube video here. But
yes, there you go.
Anyway, look, I mean, yeah, but again, I guess this is okay. This is an interesting point you raised, actually, to be honest. So, like, we mentioned it before. The big 3, well, except for Ichigo, boot him out, he's dumb. But Naruto and Luffy have very, very clear-cut goals from day one, which is why one sold 250 million, one sold over 500 million. Like, it's good to have a character with a fucking goal. Now, that doesn't mean that things can't change and subvert, which is what the Dark Trio, apart from Gabimaru, I guess, is doing. So you're right. Itadori is reactionary. He kind of just things happen to him and he responds.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And the same thing happens, of course, with Denji. So yeah, but I think Jujutsu Kaisen is great because it just opens the world build for me so far. Again, I'm only an anime watcher. For me, the Jujutsu Kaisen world build is the most interesting. And I just think it's really like the rule. I mean, again, we've tried to write a post a few times about like what cursed energy is.
I can't do it.
It's not possible. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's like chakra
existential
though.
crisis.
It's the thing.
It's sort of like, oh, it's
It's
this thing.
negative energy. People having a bad day. And you're just like, what?
Yeah, look, I've got to say the power system's a bit cooked, but I still
I think
love
that
it.
makes sense to
Oh,
me.
just
It makes
you
enough
wait.
sense, don't worry.
Just you
It's
wait.
perfect.
Oh,
It's
I read
perfect.
a few chapters back, and I was like, this guy's got a cone-shaped head, and he's a god. And I was just like, what the fuck is going? It falls apart
Really
quickly.
interesting, but the Shibuya arc is dope.
Everything around it is good. It's holding it together, but the power system is.
It's a mess. Yeah, but
There's
like,
cool powers in it.
yeah, oh yeah. I mean,
Some
Gojo
really bad
Satoru.
ones.
Look, let's be real.
Anyway,
Everyone loves Gojo Satoru, and that's half the reason Jujutsu Kaisen is so popular. Everyone just simps for him, and it's fair enough. He's
I know
fucking
what
dope.
you're talking about.
Can you show us about? Oh, you've changed it.
It's now my cat.
Now your
so,
cat. You've
I mean, I could show you.
recently changed it.
My background was Gojo because I'm a Gojo simp. But I do think that
well, he's great. 'Cause
he's great.
He's
Great character.
He's one of the only points of levity in the whole show.
Yeah, and he's just
Just
so
him
stupidly.
out doing shopping while they're all like fighting demons, and he's like, I got muffins. It's great.
But that's how to do an OP character well too. Like he is an overpowered character handled well.
yeah, because the bad guys accept how OP he is,
Yeah.
and the whole plan that's going ahead is like, how do we
Stop him.
deal with this situation before we can, like, kind of like it's good. And I think you said this when you were selling me the show because I hadn't watched it when it first aired. I watched. I was like a couple of episodes late, and you were just like, "You'd be a fool if you didn't watch." Like, I got some
I did say that.
aggressive message, and I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
Yeah.
all caps.
Better watch it.
No breaks.
Like,
Trump style.
yeah,
like,
seriously, it was-
not watching Jujutsu Kaisen. Sad.
like, that was actually it. Like, I
That's
kind
what
of just.
I do that sometimes. You know?
Oh my god! But I think you did say that they kind of have two characters. You know, you got Gojo, and then you've got Sukuna.
Yep.
Sukuna, and you go. These are two most powerful. That's
That's
it. Like, there's no one at the
Not like
moment.
Naruto,
There might be
yeah.
later, but it's like it's kind of like, and then 55 million people came in and were like, "There's a god here," or like
Yeah.
someone did.
They're
this,
from the
or like-
moon.
yeah,
Fucking
and
hell.
like Itadori's strong, but he's not that strong at the moment. He
No.
just has like a good resolve. That's his whole thing. It's like he's got good stamina.
Yep. Can throw a baseball real hard.
Yeah, so he can handle
Yeah.
the cursed fingers he's eating.
Yeah. Jujutsu Kaisen. Look, your favorite too, right? Of the 3.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I think it's because it has the familiar tropes to me of
Yes.
shonen. But actually, the real reason why it is my favorite is because actually, and I know I joked about my 1 million points for feminism, but it actually does very, very well in that regard.
It does. It does.
It's
Yeah.
out
It
of
does.
all of the shonens, I would argue, even FMA,
Wow.
I think it's got the best female representation.
Whoa.
The female
1 million
characters-
Charlie and anime feminist points. That's
I think because and this is not all anime. This is to do
okay.
with
In shonen.
To do with shonen because my
So
friend loves to rile me up. Shout out to you, Seamus. Loves
Hello,
to just
Seamus. Good friend of this
message me
podcast.
and be like, Demon Slayer, like this was bad for feminism. And I was like, it's like watching a James Bond film and being like, wow, he really doesn't treat that woman well. Whoa. This is a guilty pleasure genre for a lot of reasons, and that's one of them for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's tiring to watch and it's annoying.
Yeah.
And when something like Jujutsu Kaisen comes along, you go, oh, actually, you can have all of those points, and it can be as get all the tropes across and still be as exciting, but you can still have female or feminine presenting characters who have agency on their own, and they're amazing and powerful, and they have their own, they're just fully fleshed out characters. The bar's low here.
Yeah, anime's not
very
great
low.
for it. We've talked about this in our
But I think Jujutsu
feminism
Kaisen
podcast.
genuinely has great characters of all genders.
Yeah.
And there's very minimal fan service.
Yep,
There's
true.
jokes about, but every time it's joked, it's in a fun, it's not, I've never felt weirded out watching it.
No, Jujutsu Kaisen's pretty safe in that respect, which is
Totally.
good, which is a good thing. I'm not saying that in a bad. I'm saying that's a real
And
positive
I
in the
think
show.
that it's also if I was telling my friend today who told me he's getting anime burnout, but he hadn't watched Jujutsu Kaisen, and I went, "Oh, watch it, you'll love it. You'll love
be
it
back.
again."
You'll be back.
Because I think that it does get all the best of what we've always looked for, but it kind of brings it into a modern lens, which is a bit more comfortable to watch.
Agreed.
Brings it to the new world. What was that?
To the new
Is
world.
that a cult?
New world.
Jesus Christ. What am I talking about? It brings it, it modernizes it in a way that socially catches up.
Yeah, I agree. I think so. Yeah, and
So good for you.
yeah,
Jujutsu Kaisen.
good for Jujutsu Kaisen.
The certificate is in the mail.
Your
did
1
it.
million points are coming
Yeah.
your way.
Spend them wisely. Can you spend them?
Yeah.
You spend okay,
like
cool.
coals and stuff. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's like rewards fly by.
It's like regular money, but more fun.
Fun bucks.
It's actually interestingly, it was slow to gain popularity as a manga. It took it a long time compared to the other two,
Yeah.
which got much more popularity much faster. It took a little while to gain a foothold. Now it's the largest seller of the three,
Is it because of the art though?
potentially. And also, interestingly, Akutami was a classically trained drawer, as we say on here, and unlike Fujimoto. But you say you don't like a lot of his drawing, right?
It's too quick and too sketchy,
Interesting.
and he uses a lot of blank panels, which if blank panels are used in the storytelling, great. But it feels like filler. Like he wanted to draw one drawing on one page and then fill the rest with blank. I'm like, that's not what the medium should be. I'm not paying for blank pages for my illustrated picture book. But then there's flashes of brilliance where you think, oh, this is where he's putting his effort into.
Right.
And then next page, Itadori's drawn with 3 strokes of pen. You're like, oh, okay. So
Interesting.
I don't vibe on the art, but
I love the story.
there is some genius in there.
Love the world building. And yeah, his art style was inspired by Tai Kubo, Bleach. Also from
Tai Kubo is just a different level.
Oh, he's an extraordinary artist. No question.
He's going to do one drawing per page. It's going to be a hell of a drawing.
Yeah, no, I think we've said this before, but you could argue of the big three, Tai Kubo is the best artist from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, probably. Well, but
Kishimoto, Oda.
Oda. Well, if you have a quick Google on Oda's other works, that's not. He's like,
When does he have the
I was
time?
gonna say, when did this happen?
he gets when he's on the toilet.
Oh my God.
Masterpiece.
That was his holiday. Was getting
Yeah.
married. He just wrote another manga. It's just getting married.
Wife's like, come
God
on,
damn
dude.
it.
And his style is just fun and wacky, but he can fill it with a lot of stuff goes into a very small panel as well.
Oda,
Well,
yeah.
Ram it in Oda, yeah.
The art style of One Piece has never been my favorite,
Yeah.
but I can tell he's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
Oh, for
and
sure.
the character designs and stuff are they're
Crazy.
quirky and crazy and highly imaginative. Whereas Tyke was just is stylish.
Oh, it's so
Well, he was
stylish.
very
cool.
Yeah.
fashion
You're
inspired, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
A
What am I
lot of
doing?
flowing
Very
cloaks
cool.
and
Loves a good flowing cloak.
Yeah.
And hat. But
yeah.
he was also, Kishimoto, Naruto, and also, of course, an old favorite, Yusuke Murata, who did Ice Shield 21, and of course, didn't write One Punch Man, didn't write the story, but does the manga adaptation as the artist.
Yeah.
So those are his big inspirations, Akutami, for Jujutsu Kaisen. So let's move on to the very last one, the one which is airing as we speak. And that is, of course, Hell's Paradise. Now, Graham, you've been banging on about this for a long time.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Hell's Paradise.
Hell's Paradise follows a ninja who's currently in jail. His name's Gabimaro the Hollow. He's approached by an executioner, an Asaemon, sword tester with basically a get out of jail free card. The only catch is he has to go to an island filled with monsters and death to find the elixir of life. If he does that, then he gets to his goal, which I think we've already spoke about, is to return to his wife, who he did not know he loved because he's such a damaged individual.
Yes.
And that's
Cold-blooded killer.
blocked it out because he wanted to be the best ninja that's ever ninja'd. That's basically the story in broad strokes, I guess.
Yeah. Look, it's currently at the time of recording this podcast, it's about halfway through its runtime of the first core. I'm absolutely loving it. It's it feels to me like the most. I wonder how much more the world build goes. I'm sure it's going to be a lot deeper and heavy, but I love it. I think it's really, really great.
There's a mystery to it right now.
A lot of mystery. Great. It's a mystery show.
They're not giving you everything.
100%. And the characters are building very. Also, a lot of defying of expectations. A lot of the cool looking characters, because a whole bunch of outlaws get sent to the island to obtain the elixir of life for the Shogun, and of course they all turn on each other and whatnot. A lot of the really cool looking ones dead immediately.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that person looked great. Great character design, dead. Yeah. So I imagine it's just going to keep unfurling itself. But yeah, it's dark. It's probably the most. Well, no, okay, it's on par with Chainsaw Man in the horror aspect of things. Like, I mean,
abstract horror.
Weird
things fused together.
Very body horror. I mean, Chainsaw Man obviously has that as well. He literally turns into fucking chainsaws.
A butterfly with a human face, like that type of stuff.
Grotesque, and like it's quite
Cronenberg-esque.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a lot of like the violence is pretty. It's Ninja Scroll-esque in that respect.
Yeah,
like pretty fucking gnarly violence. You know, like.
I'm an anime only, so I haven't read the manga, but for me, I think the art style of it is my personal favorite. The way it looks like the pop of the island and the like.
Let's look at colours.
The colours and the kind of design. I think it's sick. One thing I'll say is I was like, yes, we have a strong female like second protagonist, and then there was a lot of fan service.
Yeah,
and
there
I
was
went,
a bit.
Here we go. Here we bloody go. So, not of her. Actually, there is of her. There's a lot of random cuts to her naked.
Yeah, that was
I was like, oh, good. We needed that, I guess. But, so.
That's pretty much done now. You won't see that again.
Yeah, but there's also other characters who are, I'm not worried about super hypersexualized characters. That's fine by me, like, depending on how it's done.
We're talking about the other
female ninja. Yeah.
But you know what? Good voice performance. She was good.
The Koichi?
Koichi?
Yeah, Koichi.
Yeah. But yeah, honestly, like
what's the name of the female samurai? I really enjoy her portrayal.
Sakura?
I think it's, apart from that little fan servicey bit you get there, but I think as she progresses and you learn more about what she had to go through, being like a female executioner pretty much.
In a man's world.
Where she ends up at the end of the series, or I can't spoil anything. I think she's such a strong character.
Yeah,
probably stronger than Gabimaro is. In the long term, big picture side of it.
I don't know if you're up to date with the episodes, but like in the last episode that has aired at the time of recording this podcast, Sakura did do something really cool.
Oh, she was sick.
And so she's now like, I guess they really took it down because there's a while I was like, I thought we had a strong female character, like great, and then I was like, she sucks, so she's so lame. But then they have brought it back around, it sounds like they keep taking it from strength to strength, so that's positive. Well, I hope. I don't know.
It's good. It's a good world.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys to be excited.
Where do you... Okay, I'm going to ask you this. Rank them. 1, 2, 3. Do it.
I would do... Chainsaw, but the ending of Chainsaw Man. For the full, from start to finish, like satisfying story, probably Hell's Paradise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I have some issues with the ending of the first sort of chunk of Chainsaw Man, how it ends. But then it's continuing anyway.
How are you finding the second part?
It's completely different.
Really?
Like if tonally it feels different, it's completely different. It
Okay.
doesn't even follow Denji.
Oh.
That way. It's completely, he's in the story, but it's not focused on him.
Oh, sorry, it's the war demon, isn't it? Yeah.
What if you took the Chainsaw Man out of Chainsaw Man?
Yeah.
Then what you got?
It kind of did. And he feels like a different character at this point.
Okay.
Because he's been through so much. So I'd probably go Hell's Paradise, Chainsaw Man Jujutsu.
Hey, okay.
Just because I feel like there's so much of Jujutsu Kaisen's going to go for years. This is
It's going
to be a Naruto length thing. It's going to keep going. Chainsaw Man felt finished, but now it's continuing, so it's in a different thing. But Hell's Paradise from first chapter to the end is a self-contained story with a beginning, middle, and end. Yeah, it's done.
Completely done.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like 11, 12 volumes. Like,
okay, I like a good beginning, middle, and end. You know, like
it's a complete story, so it's more satisfying than the one that's going to last forever.
Yeah,
the one that should have ended.
Gotcha.
It's impossible for us to rank it because we're anime only,
Of course,
and
so,
Jujutsu Kaisen has an unfair advantage of having a really, really, really great adaptation from what
Best
I gathered,
adaptation.
and like also much more longevity. It's been out for ages.
It will go for years. It will. It'll be
Yeah.
So,
And interestingly, I'm sure we've mentioned it before, but we keep saying the word Mappa. And for those of you who are coming in cold to this, like, Mappa is, of course, an animation studio, and they are doing
the
all
animation
three.
studio.
Well, nowadays, they do everything. So yeah, they're actually adapting all three of the Dark Trio, which is quite interesting. And in fact, with Chainsaw Man, they took that on as the sole member of the production committee. So, and apparently didn't actually do as well as they thought. Still went, I'm sure it went very well, but wasn't as successful as they'd hoped it would be, especially with the Blu-ray sales, which for some reason, still a big thing in Japan. But anyway, Mappa, huge deal for them to be taking them on. And doing pretty damn good adaptations of all three. But I would argue Jujutsu Kaisen's the best adaptation. It looks great. The movie was incredible.
Look great. Fantastic. Yeah, the movie, yeah. But that's movie budget.
Of course. But yeah, I mean, I think that also worked for a lot of Gateway fans, a lot of people who use it. I have a bunch of friends who went and saw it and were like, that was great. It's
fantastic,
never seen anime in their lives. So, you know, love that. Also, Hell's Paradise was influenced by H.G. Wells's sci-fi novel, The Island of Dr. Moreau.
That makes sense.
Big influence.
That makes sense.
So yeah, all that sort of stuff.
Reminds me of Annihilation, that movie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, true. Actually,
a movie that scared the shit out of me.
Oh yeah.
Even just the music that was played in reverse or whatever they did with that score.
Hectic.
Oh.
Hectic.
The bear that just stole people's voices.
Oh yeah.
Was screaming their voices, saying "Help me." Oh,
that's so gnarly.
Good movie. Check it out.
Yeah.
Weird ending. Fujimoto-esque ending.
Oh, really?
What happened? No one knows. End.
But also, it's based off the island of Onigashima, which was featured in Japanese folktales. So the folktale tells of a story of Monotori, a special child delivered to a childless couple through a peach they tried to eat. Came out of a peach. When Monotori grows up and travels to an island terrorized by demons. He makes friends along the way and manages to defeat the demons and capture the demon chief. He obtains the treasure of the demons and returns home with it and the captured demon chief. So that's an old classic. That was actually what Hell's Paradise was supposed to be. He was actually writing about that very folktale.
Right.
And then he just sort of ended up taking a big left turn and making it
When
based off that.
When is Mappa making that adaptation?
Yeah, when are they going to do that adaptation?
Sure, it's coming out any minute now.
Probably this season.
Monotori.
Kaisen.
But yeah, that's initially what the
things are
author
Mappa.
started up writing the story about, and then just took it into his own world. But
Not enough sexy ninjas in this one.
not enough. Had to do more. So yeah, well, that is the Dark Trio. So if you haven't checked them out, strongly suggest you do so. Again, at the time of this recording, of course, only one of them is halfway through. The others have full first seasons, and the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen is imminent this year, and I cannot wait. So, guys, thank you so much. That's a bit of info on the big three. Of course, thank you everyone for tuning in. You can, of course, find us at our usual places, Instagram, TikTok, or our website, www.gatewaytoanime.com. If you really like what we're doing, you can check out our Patreon. Huge thanks to all of them. You know who you are. You are incredible people, and we couldn't do what we do without you. We are, of course, also selling some merch. We got some shirts y'all can buy. They are pretty cool.
None of us are wearing.
But
again,
it's okay.
Try to make money here, Sam.
Goddamn.
I want to be the mapper of podcasting, anime things.
Everything. No, you can head to our website to find those. You can also find them on our Instagram store. But guys, thank you very much. If you haven't seen the Dark Trio, check them out. Read them, watch them, do all of those things. Hope you understood a little bit more about them. We'll catch you next time. Thanks very much.